Hi everybody, this is E.T. with an episode of The Unhealthiest Sport. Once upon a time, back to the Victorian era of the late 19th century on through the 1930s, magazines and books, the primary sources of health and fitness-related info, emphasized, just that, health and fitness. The goal was to be able to function, to be well, and strong enough to do things. Yeah, you'd get a pleasing physique as a side benefit. Men such as Dr. John Kellogg and his brother Will, and C.W. Post, and Bernarr Macfadden, as well as others, emphasized fresh air, exercise, whole, nutritious foods. This at a time when Americans were leaving the farm and moving to the cities. And new manufacturing techniques were stripping critical nutrients from foods. Beginning in the late 1920s and early 30s, magazines and books began to emphasize strength and health, in that order. In fact, Bob Hoffman, an Olympic weightlifting coach, would in 1932 begin publishing a magazine of that name, Strength and Health, emphasizing body power and, to a lesser extent, overall fitness. The poles shifted from health to physique only by the mid-1950s with the Weider brothers, Joe and Ben, who, with their bodybuilding publications and physique contests, admonished young boys of the baby boom generation, the largest age cohort in recorded history, that the sure way to attract females was to wrap slabs of muscle over their underdeveloped frames. Now, this was going to be possible with the purchase of Weider's, magazines, exercise equipment, workout routines, and food supplements. Timing proved serendipitous for the Weiders. For example, the first wave of baby boomers graduated high school in the early 1960s when Dianabol appeared, the first openly marketed anabolic steroid, developed by Dr. Ziegler for SIBA and first tested on one of Bob Hoffman's weightlifters. Dianabol soon was available and legal to athletes and bodybuilders. Dianabol was followed in subsequent decades by other steroids tailored to trim fat and increase vascularity and so on, and then came growth hormones and the popular use of insulin and diuretics, and then other compounds, many having failed safety tests. One might assume that chemically enhanced bodies would have hurt the so-called fitness industry, but they didn't. Neither Weider nor Hoffman gave much press to steroids. They focused instead on their own products, which they emphasized was the big factor in the new strength records and blown-up physiques. Hoffman, for a while, attributed all the success to isometrics and something he called Energol, which was a blend of wheat and rice germ oil. To the extent that steroids were mentioned at all, it was to de-emphasize their efficacy. For instance, John Grimmick, a senior editor for Hoffman and former physique and Olympic champion, said they just didn't work. But of course, we know they did. We're out of time. I'll have more on the unhealthiest sport in episode 2. This is E.T. Like this episode or don't, but do subscribe.